ఎక్స్చేంజ్ 8,000 రూపాయల బ్యాలెన్స్ మ్యామ్.
ఇవ్వనక్కర్లేదమ్మా, 8,000 మీకే వస్తాయి.
ఎస్ మ్యామ్, మేము కేవలం హాల్మార్క్ 916 గోల్డ్ నే అమ్ముతాం. ఇంకా మీకు దొరికింది 100% ఎక్స్చేంజ్ వాల్యూ.
క్వాలిటీ, ఇది మలబార్ ప్రామిస్.
ఇది మా హీరో అల్లుడు కోసం ఫిట్ గా ఉంటుంది.
పర్ఫెక్ట్ గా ఫిట్ అవుతుంది. ఇది మైండ్ డైమండ్, 100% క్వాలిటీ.
సార్, ప్రతి మైండ్ డైమండ్ న్యాచురల్. ఇంకా మేము 28 క్వాలిటీ టెస్ట్లు చేస్తాం.
28 టెస్ట్లా?
ప్రతి డైమండ్ జ్యువెలరీతో పాటు ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ల్యాబ్ సర్టిఫికేట్ కూడా.
కళ్ళు మూసుకుని మీ హీరో కోసం వజ్రాలను తీసుకోండి. ఇది మలబార్ ప్రామిస్.
సంక్రాంతి సందర్భంగా లెజెండరీ సింగర్ పద్మశ్రీ చిత్ర గారి సుస్వరాలతో పాటు ఆకట్టుకునే మరెన్నో కార్యక్రమాలతో వర్చువల్ గా రూపొందించే తానా సంక్రాంతి 2021 గ్రాండ్ సెలబ్రేషన్స్ మీ టీవీఏషియా తెలుగులో జనవరి 16 10 AM EST. రంగవల్లులతో తీర్చిదిద్దిన లోగిళ్ల ముందు.
Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of our talk show with the experts. Manito unnaru mana expert Rahul Reddy garu. Rahul garu, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for inviting me, Garu.
Thanks, Andy. And for those of you who are joining for the first time, Rahul garu has Reddy Neumann P.C and a law firm which is Houston based, and they're working day and night to help all immigrants with their legal issues and matter. So look them up and let's get started. So Rahul garu, this is like a new day, a new dawn, and that too, the election results are finally sort of confirmed and Biden has emerged the new winner and matter. So, that brings us to like a new immigration bill, new immigration reforms. So Dan gurinchi koncha explain chestara, like what is going to be in Biden's immigration bill. And also, since both the House and Senate are now clearly Democrat controlled, should we expect these immigration bills to pass immediately or quickly, easily,
One thing is that you declared election victory, but the other guy did not concede yet. Let's not get into the battle. We all agree on the things right now, as the Senate has certified and the Congress has certified. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is a good news that we do have Congress and in the executive body with the same party. There are some hurdles I will explain you later on. But coming to the point, Biden has already expressed his intention that in the first month of his being in power, which starts on January 20th in noon timing, within the first 1 month, he said he will introduce a bill in the Congress. Okay. He did not mention what is going to be included in it. For sure, we can take a guess. If we go back to the Gang of 8 bill, which was introduced in the Congress, it actually passed through the Senate though at that point of time, and it got stuck in the House.
Okay.
The Gang of 8. That was in the Obama period. We do still have some of the senators there, particularly Lindsey Graham was one of the Gang of 8 member. He was there. We do have the senator from the Florida, who's also a Republican. These people are supported those bills. We do expect that things will be in the same line. Definitely in the Gang of 8 bill, they were removing the per country quota limit because most of our audiences are just interested in their per country quota limit. They did remove in the Gang of 8 bill. They also increased the employment-based immigration to 250, if I'm not mistaken, either it's 240 or 250,000 from 140,000.
Wow.
They also removed the counting of the family members, though. They did some restrictions with regards to the family immigrations, but especially for the siblings. They did some restrictions on the family immigration. But when it comes to the employment-based immigration, they did increase the numbers. They did took off the per country limit. They also are not counting the family members. So practically, if the Gang of 8 bill goes through, though, we can expect the priority dates to be current immediately.
Oh, wow.
The question is, it's not going to be phased thing. It's going to be immediately, because if the immigration, if they don't count the family members, though, the green cards are going to go up from 140,000 to approximately 500,000. So, and they're not going to be any per country limit. So practically all 500,000 will first be given to the Indians, though. I mean, I'm not going to say it's Indians just because it happens to be we are the people who have been discriminated for so long, so that when the discrimination is removed, the people who are in line, Indians are in line for a long period of time. So we can expect the priority date to be current immediately. Also in the Gang of 8 bill, they were also wanting to use the unused green cards that were being thrown out, depending on who counts that. It is anywhere between 250,000 to 500,000 green cards. Even if we take the conservative estimate of 250,000, and if you do count or don't count is another issue of the family members. Definitely the priority date is going to be current if I look into the Gang of 8 bill. We do see the Dick Durbin from the senator who is still there, Democrat senator. We have Schumer from New York, who still is one of the Gang of 8 member. We do have the Republican senator, 2 of the Republican senators that are there, and they can be a push. Now, coming to the point, what you asked, Nithya Garu, is that now since both houses are with one party and the president is one party, do we have a greater chances of the things to move out in the Senate and the House? Yes, there is a good chance things will move forward in both the things. Right now, for the immigration bill, where would be the hindrance? Obviously, since Biden is the one who's proposing, he's not going to veto the bill. House seems to be in line. We don't expect much problem in the House of Representatives. When it comes to the Senate, though, there is something called filibuster rule, though.
Right.
That requires that there should be a 60-member majority, though. At this point of time, the Democrats have only 50 plus one Vice President Kamala Harris vote, 51 to 50. It seems that one of the Republican member has already shifted the loyalties to the Democrats after they saw what happened in the Capitol, and especially when the Republican support, and that seems to be Lisa from senator from the Alaska, seems to have switched because she couldn't tolerate what happened there in the Capitol. The movement seems to be right now in favor of the Biden right now, because except 2 or 3 senators, all the senators used to be united against one common enemy. That enemy, I don't want to name that enemy, but looks to be that the Democrats and the Republicans have a common enemy right now. And the enemy is trying to derail the republic of this country, the republic system of this country. So in that moment, and especially Biden announcing that immigration bill, the things may go through smoothly. If it passes through Senate, like the way it did it in the Obama administration, approximately about 7-8 years ago, we do expect the bill. Now, one small thing that I want to tell all the audiences will be that What Biden is proposing
Mhm.
is not actually going to be only employment based. It's going to be a comprehensive immigration legislation. It's not going to be a piecemeal. It's going to have a lot of things included in it. It's going to be a large bill that will include the people who came unlawfully when they were under 15, people who are unlawfully present in this country. It's going to have some modifications to the family immigration. It's going to have modifications with regards to the border wall. That's another thing. We have seen that the big wall which is there in the Capitol, people just climbed that wall. So wall didn't work. So of course, the Republicans proved that the nasty Republicans, not the good Republicans, proved that wall did not work. So definitely there will be a comprehensive immigration legislation. It's not going to be condensed only to the employment-based immigration. So it will be a lot of debate and it will take a lot of time, even though the bill will be introduced in a month period. It may take 3 or 4 months at least. We can say that is it going forward, is it not going to go forward. It will definitely be introduced in the Senate. We are not expecting that to be introduced in the House because Senate is the hurdle. If the Senate is passed, then we are in good shape.
Okay. That makes sense. Rahul Garu, so let's hope that it sails away smoothly into the future and a lot of our viewers and listeners also are helped with this new immigration policy.
Sure.
And on that note, let's start taking our callers. We have a lot of them waiting. Let's go on to our first caller, Andy. And in the meantime, I just want to start off with one YouTube question. This is from 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞 𝗦𝗪𝗧𝗛. He says, Hi Rahul sir, I observed handwritten corrections for my 485 forms submitted by attorney. Will USCIS raise any concern? He says he applied for it on October 28th with no receipts yet. Do I need to worry?
Well, handwritten corrections are not a problem. There is no requirement that the entire form has to be typed. The entire form can be written in the hand and submitted too. Handwritten corrections are normally accepted, not a problem at all. Last minute when the lawyer sees something is wrong, they do correct those things. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. You should be fine. You have filed your receipt. You said you filed in October 28th. What we noticed is that most of the receipt notices that were filed on or before October 27th seems to have been issued. Not all of them, but most of them. But October 28th may be touched this week. I'm expecting this week they would cash the checks for the October 28th.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Thank you. And let's go to our caller, Randy. Sir, area code 609. We're ready for you. Hello.
Hi, this is Rajesh. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Rajesh.
Please go ahead.
Hi, Reddy Garu. I am on H1B right now, and my I-140 priority date is February 2011. My employer filed my EAD 131 and 485 on October 30th. I'm still awaiting my receipt. It went to Texas Center. I got laid off on January 1st, and my employer, without letting me know, filed my H1B revoke on January 6th. So my question would be, what are my options? My second question would be...
When is your H1B expiring though? I know you revoked on January 6th. When is it expiring?
So my I-94 and my 797 is valid till August 2021.
Okay. You do have a 60-day grace period for you to either leave the country or find another job though. As far as your 485 application and I-140 application that you filed in October 30th, you can consider that has been trashed. It is of no good at all. The reason is that if you lose the job within 180 days after you file the 485 application, that 485 application is considered to be dead. So now the best thing what you can do is that find another job, file a H1B, of course, and then you have to go through the PERM and labor and I-140 application process again.
Okay. So my all thing that has been done on October 30th is done, right?
That's right.
It's not.
I would not.
No good, right?
No, you should not count on that at all.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. All right, let's go on to our next caller. And in the meantime, Rahul Garu, I have a question from Patil Shanghai. He says, my son too is on L2 dependent visa and will be 21 in March. Our date is current and his papers have been filed for AOS. What happens post-March? Can he continue to stay in the US?
There are,
he also says
there are two, what he's saying is that his son is becoming 21 and the son is on L2. They already filed the adjustment of status. So the main question that pops up is that there are two dates. I'm just trying to check the dates here. There are called filing dates and there is called final action dates.
Right. So filing date was July 2019 for him, EB1,
Right.
which became current in Jan 2021.
When he became current, does it become current? What is the priority date? He said, I'm trying to check the visa bulletin right now.
Priority date right now, I'm not sure, but he says it became current in Jan 2021 bulletin. But his filing date was July 2019.
July 2019. One second, let me check on that. Fortunately, if the statement is correct though, which I have to believe in it, if final action date is, he said, if his filing date is July 2019. So I'm assuming, and he said it's EB1. I'm assuming that is the priority date and his I-140 would be approved. If his I-140 is approved and his priority date is July of 2019 in EB1, he's fine. The kid will be fine in adjustment of status. He can let the L2 expire. He doesn't have to move. The reason is that the final action date became current before the kid turned 21.
Gotcha.
If it's only the filing dates, then the kid turning 21 is very dangerous. Since it's a final action date, and after the final action date became current, what happens is that the age of the kid freezes. In other words, he will not age anymore according to legally. So he would be fine. But I would still, because it's a very sensitive issue, I don't know what is the priority date. I don't know if his I-140 is approved. I don't know exactly what is his priority date. You may want to check up with a lawyer one time to make sure everything is okay with the kid. Seems to be, but I just want him to check it because it's a very sensitive issue for him.
So Mr. Prashant, if you're listening to this, then, please go ahead and heed to Rahul Garu's advice. And on that note, let's go to our next caller, Andy. Sir, area code 657. We're ready for you. Hello? Sir, please press *6 to unmute your line. Area code 657.
Can go to YouTube question.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to our next YouTube question, Andy. This is from Seshu Babu. He says, hey, Rahul Garu. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. We're ready. Go ahead, please.
Uh-oh.
So press *6 to unmute your line, please. *6, Andy. Okay, while we're waiting for him, this is a question from Seshu Babu. He says, hey, Rahul Garu, we have filed the... hello? Yes, sir. Yeah, you're back on. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I applied for my wife's H4 extension and I did not apply for H4 EAD extension. So if I have to join that court litigation, so do I need to apply for her H4 EAD first? And if so, what is the process?
First, you have to apply for the H4 EAD, and only after 30 days after H4 EAD is pending, then you will be eligible for the court litigation. The reason we are going to the court is that we are telling the USCIS is supposed to adjudicate the H4 and EAD within 30 days. But if you have not filed the case at all, we can't go to court and say USCIS has not adjudicated the case. So you first need to file an EAD. Do you need the H4 approval to file the EAD? The answer is no. You can file the EAD while the H4 is pending.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. And like I also applied for also applied for my GCEAD in October, and I got the receipt. I'm waiting for the biometrics. So when can we actually start working on that GCEAD?
Until you get the GCEAD approval in hand, you cannot work on the EAD application that you filed. Now, there is a different theory here, though. There is a different interpretation, and I'll tell you the difference. A lot of people think that you can work on the receipt notice. If you are filing first time for the adjustment of status for an EAD application, you cannot work on the receipt notice. However, though, if it's an extension of the adjustment of status EAD, not H4 EAD, but adjustment of status EAD, you can work on the receipt notice even after your EAD expires for a period of 180 days. But the initial application, you cannot work. You have to wait for the approval.
Got it. Thank you so much for the clarification.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for calling in. All right, Rahul Garu, let's go to our next caller, Randy. In the meantime, let's get these questions here. Okay, I have a question from 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞 He says, Rahul sir, can you please brief the H484 EAD litigation process your firm does, which we kind of talked about.
I think so.
Also,
we just spoke right now.
Also, with the House and Senate being controlled by Democrats, what is your hope in getting the discrimination removed in the country caps? Which you kind of...
One problem with the Democrats is that they want a comprehensive immigration legislation, though. Right. They don't want piecemeal. They don't want, typically, they are not the fans of passing one piece at a time, especially when it comes to the immigration. They want the entire legislation. The last time any major legislation, other than the COVID, where they gave the money to the people, which was a pandemic bill. Other than that, the major bill that was passed was in the first 2 years of the Obama administration, where the healthcare Obamacare bill has been passed. Though. After that, the Congress is mixed up and they don't pass anything, and that's a problem there. Right. That's what we have a problem. So Democrats are not by piecemeal. They are not going to encourage the HR 1044 in general, though. In general, they don't. They like to include that in the package of the comprehensive immigration bill. So let's see, maybe Joe Lofgren will work differently. We don't know, but most probably it will be a comprehensive immigration legislation.
Okay. All right. And on that note, let's go to our next caller, Randy. Hello, sir. Area code 732. Ready for you? Hello? Sir, please press *6 to unmute your line. *6, Andy, to unmute your line. In the meantime, Rahul Garu, let's take another YouTube question.
Hello.
Okay. Hello?
Good, sir.
Hi. Sorry about that. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead, sir, please.
Good evening, Rahul Garu. Good evening, Nithya Garu, and Happy New Year. My name is Vijay, calling from New Jersey. And I have one question, Rahul Garu. It's been a long time on the top of my head, but I don't have answer. Let's say, for example, there are three companies, Company A, Company B, and Company C. And in the year 2019, in April, I was laid off from Company A, and I started working with the Company B in June 2019. So I was laid off from Company A. I was laid off from Company A in April 2019. And after that, I utilized the 60-day grace period, the window period, to find a new employment. Luckily, I found a job and I started working with the Company B in June 2019, in less than 60 days. So I started working using the receipt notice. The Company B filed my H1B in June, but I got a RFE, and company answered the RFE, and it was denied. H1B was denied in July 2019. and then I stopped working from sorry, it was denied in. Yeah, I stopped working immediately after 2 days. I received the physical copy. So I stopped working for 1 month, and the same company B applied a new petition on October 28th, and I started working on November 2019, and the H1B was finally approved in Jan 2020. So during this course of his action, do you think I'm in any out of status in any of the months in the past?
You could be considered to be out of status, though. However, though, you can always step outside the country and come back in to cure that going forward, though. So when you exit outside the country, you come back in, you don't continue. So that period of what you're telling between September and November of 2019, though, may be considered to be out of status. Maybe, okay? But I'm not expecting, since it is not crossing the 180-day period, though, I'm not expecting much problems for you going forward because of the September to November of 2019, because you already got the H1B approval with the I-94 with Company B.
Yeah, with Company B, it was approved in January 2019. Right. Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah, January 2020.
My question.
January 2020, you said.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. Yes.
Yeah.
So my question is, since I was out of status for 1 month, like you said, but my I-94 was active until December 2019.
Right. There are two things. So, one is called out of status and one is called unlawful presence. Normally, if you have an I-94 like the way you have it, you are not considered to be unlawful. You're only considered to be out of status. It's a very complex thing for you to understand right now and for me to explain, but the words are used differently by immigration lawyers. Out of status, unlawful. That's the reason I never said to you that you're unlawful. I only said that you're out of status. You being out of status for a period of 2 months is not going to cause, in the long term, it's not going to cause much problems for you. There are defenses for it. You can still claim there are defenses for it that we can use it, but most probably you may not have to use any of those things. You'll be fine. You should not have much problems.
So very recently, I applied for my 485. I got my receipt notice and fingerprinting. But my question is it going to cause any problem when my 485 priority date is current? Are they going to reconsider?
Since it's going to be a period of only 2 months, as you said, though, it should not cause much problem, because in the 485K, though, in the employment based, if a person is if the person is out of status for less than 180 days, they will still be given the green card. So now that exemption is not available for family immigration, especially preference family categories, though. In your case, it's an employment based, you're within 180 days, you should be fine. I'm not expecting much problem for you.
Oh, okay. So, okay. All right. So,
thank you. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rahul Garu. Thank you so much. Yeah. Take care. Bye.
All right, Rahul Garu, let's go to our next caller. But in the meantime, let's grab another question on YouTube. So this is from KP. He says, sir, I'm on H4 EAD and lost my job. Can I apply for unemployment benefits?
His H4 EAD expired, is that right?
No, he said he's on H4 EAD and lost his job, but he doesn't.
KP, it says, KP. I lost my, yeah. If there are two things I'll answer, I just want to make sure that if the EAD has expired, though, he is not eligible to apply for the unemployment benefits.
Okay.
But if his H4 EAD validity period is still there, H4 EAD validity period is still there, and he becomes unemployed, he lost the job, he can apply for the unemployment benefits on H4 EAD. Now, this is only for H4 EAD, guys, not for H1, only for H4 EAD.
Gotcha. But it's good to know, Andy, because I don't think many people think that they can.
Yeah, if the EAD validity period is there, and it's more like an insurance, just like the way healthcare insurance. The reason I don't tell H1B is that H1B is only, you have a limited only for one particular company. It's not a general EAD. So, but for H4 EAD, if the validity period is there, they lost the job, they can apply for unemployment benefits.
Got it. Awesome, Andy. Let's go to our next caller. Sir, area code 719. We're ready for you.
Hi, Rahul Garu, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We can, sir.
Yeah, hi. My previous employer filed my I-485 recently, and I'm working for a different client. So my previous employer is not interested to do on H1B for me, and he's not forcing me to come back. And my current client is interested to take me on EAD, but not interested to file a H1B. So the question is, will it be safe after 180 days if I move to the client on my EAD?
This is not a black and white answer that I can give to you. It would have been safer had you joined the previous company, though. If after 6 months you join the end client, and they need to file a 485J supplement. Don't forget that. And
right.
And if the current employer does not, is it a downgrade application or a straight application?
It's a straight application. I did work for the old client and old employer for 2 years. Yeah.
So if it's after 180 days, the client can file a 485J supplement. And you can move to the client company, though. But is it safe? I would categorize at least 85% of the time you should be fine. Now, why am I not very comfortable with this is that the USCIS can look into whether or not your previous company has a genuine job opportunity at the time when they file the adjustment of status, and did it continue the genuine job opportunity all the way to 180 days after you file the adjustment of status. Since you never joined the company, you never worked for the company after you file the adjustment of status, it may be questioned. It may be questioned. Now, if you ask me a question, in my experience, how many times I have seen cases like your 485 getting denied? Let me tell you the answer for you. 0 times. When you have not joined the previous company, 0 times. Now, when it's a 0 times, why am I telling there is a risk percentage is that? Because Trump administration has modified some of the manuals of the USCIS, and they can question these things. They made some changes, and that's the reason I'm a bit worried about it. So I would give you 85% you are safe. That's the ratio that I'll give it to you.
So thank you so much. So one other question. So if my old employer asking me to come on on EAD, but not filing on H1, do you recommend taking away my current H1 status and then moving on to 485 and working for them for a few months?
If I were, I'm not going to answer that question, but I will answer the question differently though. If I were you, and if the company is telling me to come in an EAD, they're not filing an H1B, that means that you have to get married to the adjustment of status. Going back to the old company, I would get married to the adjustment of status application. I would go on the EAD to my previous employer. I will go to my previous employer without H1B.
Okay. So the only problem is it's a consulting company, and then I have to leave the current job and search for the job.
As I said, it's 85 and it's 95 there. You choose your option.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. And on this note, let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back to answer some more questions.
సంక్రాంతి సందర్భంగా లెజెండరీ సింగర్ పద్మశ్రీ చిత్ర గారి సుస్వరాలతో పాటు ఆకట్టుకునే మరెన్నో కార్యక్రమాలతో వర్చువల్ గా రూపొందించే తానా సంక్రాంతి 2021 గ్రాండ్ సెలబ్రేషన్స్ మీ టీవీఏషియా తెలుగులో జనవరి 16 10 AM EST. రంగవల్లులతో తీర్చిదిద్దిన లోగిళ్ల ముందు బంధుమిత్రులతో పిల్లాపాపల ఆటపాటలతో ఈ ప్రకృతి పండుగను ఆస్వాదించడమే కాదు, తానా మీకోసం మీ పిల్లల కోసం నిర్వహించే రంగవల్లులు ఆటపాటల పోటీల్లో కూడా పాల్గొనండి. పాడి పశువులను అలంకరిస్తూ చల్లని పిల్లగాలులను ఆస్వాదిస్తూ భోగి మంటల నులివెచ్చదనంతో సేద తీరుతున్న మీరు తానా అందించే విలువైన బహుమతులను విజేతలుగా అందుకోవడమే కాదు, మధుర గాయని పద్మశ్రీ శోభారాజ్ గారి ఆశీస్సులు కూడా అందుకోవచ్చు. తానా అందించే మరిచిపోలేని ఈ అనుభూతి మీ సొంతం అవ్వాలంటే https://tinYurl.com/తానా సంక్రాంతిలో మీ వివరాలు నమోదు చేసుకోండి. రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ కు ఆఖరు తేదీ జనవరి 9. తానా వారి ఈ ఆహ్వానం సపరివార సమేతంగా మీకోసం. తానా సంక్రాంతి 2021 గ్రాండ్ సెలబ్రేషన్స్ మీ టీవీఏషియా తెలుగులో జనవరి 16 10 AM EST.
ఎక్స్చేంజ్ 8,000 రూపాయల బ్యాలెన్స్ మ్యామ్.
ఇవ్వనక్కర్లేదమ్మా, 8,000 మీకే వస్తాయి.
ఎస్ మ్యామ్, మేము కేవలం హాల్మార్క్ 916 గోల్డ్నే అమ్ముతాం. ఇంకా మీకు దొరికింది 100% ఎక్స్చేంజ్ వాల్యూ.
క్వాలిటీ, ఇది మలబార్ ప్రామిస్.
ఇది మా హీరో అల్లుడు కోసం ఫిట్ గా ఉంటుంది.
పర్ఫెక్ట్ గా ఫిట్ అవుతుంది. ఇది మైండ్ డైమండ్, 100% క్వాలిటీ.
సార్, ప్రతి మైండ్ డైమండ్ న్యాచురల్. ఇంకా మేము 28 క్వాలిటీ టెస్ట్లు చేస్తాం.
28 టెస్ట్లా?
ప్రతి డైమండ్ జ్యువెలరీతో పాటు ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ల్యాబ్ సర్టిఫికేట్ కూడా.
కళ్ళు మూసుకుని మీ హీరో కోసం వజ్రాలను తీసుకోండి. ఇది మలబార్ ప్రామిస్.
We're heading along with a lot of fun questions and interesting answers and matter. So on that note, let's go to our next caller, Andy. Hello, sir. So area code 267.
Hi, Nithya garu and Rahul garu. Good evening, Andy. I have a quick question.
Sure.
Na question entante na the I-485 filed on October 30th. But 140 is they filed as an amendment because the company is acquired by company B. I was with this company A for 14 years. But what happened is, I don't know whether 140 amendment is similar to that regular I-140. And the question is, I need to wait 180 days to change the company similar to I-485 for my I-140 amendment?
Yes. In your case, though, you have, what I recommend strongly is that not only that you wait for 180 days after you file the adjustment of status, I want you to wait 180 days after the I-140 is approved. The same rule, the downgrade application or the amendment application, the same rule. It doesn't change much though, because now the company name has changed or the tax ID number has changed, something has changed. what I strongly recommend to you is to wait until the I-140 is approved, wait until 180 days after the I-140 is approved, and then go.
Sure.
And I also recommend you to do the premium processing of the amendment. Even though it's not a downgrade, it's just an amendment, I still recommend that you do the downgrade. There are a lot of people that are asking, can I do the downgrade application premium processing? Yes, you can. You can do that. There are sometimes they reject the premium processing. They only reject the premium processing, guys, not your I-140. There is a chance for it. There's about 2 to 5% chance that they may reject it, but that's okay. They'll give the money back if they reject it. So you have nothing to lose other than filing for. I would strongly recommend to file a premium processing.
Sure, sir. Definitely. I'm waiting for my receipt number. Once I get it, I'll do that. Sir,
That's
one more
good.
question follow up on that. My kid is 10 years old. Because to become a 21 years, still 10 more years. Then is it okay I can marry to EAD on my I-485?
Some of the questions I don't want to answer them.
Okay.
I would rather answer them if I were you, what I would do. Because
sure.
we are on the TV, this is a recorded thing. And let me tell you one thing, I went wrong in estimating the priority date so many times, and I claim to be the worst guy in estimating the priority date, and I challenge anybody can beat me on that. Having said that, I have video evidence that I can beat anybody else. Having said that, if I were you,
yep.
That means that I am an adjustment of status and my son is 10-year-old. I will get married to the adjustment of status. I am not telling you what to do. I'm just telling what I would do.
Sure, definitely, sir. That is really helpful for me to plan accordingly. Thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for calling in today. Rahul Garu, while we move on to our next caller, we have a question. This is from Kumar Verma. He says, can you explain H1B filing on recent changes on the wage level? Lottery is totally removed.
Wow, that's a big question. Well, one thing is that lottery is not removed,
okay,
but they have changed the rules of the lottery, though. Previously, the way lottery works is that you give all the details of you, what your name, whether you're applying in the master's quota or not. The company will file an application, they pay $10 fees, and then it will be selected based on whether you have a master's degree or not.
Correct.
Now, we have been telling from the beginning, before this administration goes, we don't know what all the fires they're going to put it. You put a fire for the H1B. In the H1B, now the lottery system will be selected on whether or not your company wants to go with a level 4 or level 1. There are 4 levels in the salary, according to the prevailing wages of the Workforce Commission, Department of Labor. So if you are going with level 1, most probably you will not get the lottery. If you are at level 4, that means that if you're at a higher level, for example, I'll tell you, for a system analyst in Dallas, the level 4 might be $120,000 salary. The level 1 might be only $80,000 salary. I'm just estimating it. So if the person is filing under level 4, $120,000, his chances of getting approval in the lottery is very high. They will pick they'll pick the level 4, and if there is anything left out, they'll go to level 3, and if there is anything left out, they'll go to level 2, and if there is anything left out, they'll go to level 1. Okay. Based on our calculation, there will not be any level 1. It will be level 4, and according to our estimate now we may be wrong, according to our estimate, if you are in level 4, you will be getting through the lottery system. Okay. If it is level 3, we don't know whether you're going to get it or not. Level 2 has very less chance. Level 1 has no chance. These are our estimate.
Okay.
But there is one good news, Sandy. This was published in the December 31st. Can't remember the exact date. No, it was published it was published last week actually. So the law says that it is going to become effective 60 days from the time it's been published.
Okay.
Since it was published last week, and it's going to become effective after February 20th.
Right.
Biden said that he's going to stop all the regulations that are going to become effective after he comes into power.
Okay.
So there is a good chance that this this regulation might be put on hold.
Okay.
Biden will not go with the highest salary. That's his tendency. The only problem is that will this come to the attention of Biden administration? That's the only problem. If he's going to put a hold on every regulation and then consider everything again, then we are in good shape. But if he's going to go with anything that are very selective though, then we don't know if our thing will come up or not. That's the only problem. So right now it's going to become effective 60 days from now. Once the Biden administration comes in, then we will update you guys what is going to happen. Of course, you will be coming to listen to our TVASIA show. So we will update you. But right now, as it stands, it is becoming effective 60 days. So the lottery system will be effective, and wherein the new lottery system will have the system where it will be based on the wage level. So be watchful on it. Come to the next show and the next shows, and we'll keep on updating you about what is going on.
You bring up a very interesting point. All right. Let's go on to our next caller, Andy. Sir, area code 515. Ready for you?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
First, make happy new year. My question is, once I have the H1B approval, extension approval, I moved to Canada because of some personal reasons. So,
when you say H1B approval, did you mean to say H1B is approved with the I-94?
Yes, extension approval.
Extension approval. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So since September, I'm working from Canada only for the same client and for the same employer. నాకు June 7th వరకు నాకు డేట్ దొరకలేదు నా ఇంటర్వ్యూ ప్రాసెస్ కి ఎనీ అపాయింట్మెంట్ కి ఏమైనా ప్రాబ్లం ఉందా నేను వెళ్ళినప్పుడు నాకు ఏమైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ పేరోల్
no, the consulates are not that interested whether the payroll is been running outside. They're happy that their country is getting the money. They don't care that much about the Canada is not getting the money, which should have been. But with regards to a problem, no, because since the time of September, we have seen the pandemic, you have not got an appointment. The only question that pops up in the mind of the consulate will be that, do you still have the job with your company? Since you are working, you're getting paid, that looks to be a very good case for you. Even though it creates a doubt in their mind, the pay stubs and other things might be a good thing. When they ask a question, do you have still a job? You can say that I'm continuing working for that company. So they should be fine in giving you the H1B visa.
Okay, sir. Second question, Chesi. I know H1B person who is having a PR can work in Michigan while staying in Windsor. Is it applicable for H4 EAD also? That means PR in Canada and also having a job in Michigan.
Yeah, if they have an EAD, the question is that if they have an EAD, can they work in Detroit? Yeah, they can work in Detroit. Absolutely not a problem.
So every day they will be crossing the border.
That's one thing is what we notice. Legally, you are allowed to do it. But sometimes what we're noticing is that, I've been to the border between Windsor and Detroit though. Sometimes the officers are getting annoyed. These people are traveling every day. We have to go through the whole thing every day. So they're kind of questioning it. But as far as the legalities are concerned, I don't see any problem in it. It's just the practicality sometimes. The CBP officers, try to trouble them. But legally, you are allowed to work on H4 EAD in Detroit. And a PR, you can keep on traveling every single day to Detroit to work. It's legally allowed.
Thank you, sir. That's it from me.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling in. Let's take our next question, Andy. This is from Ramesh Ghatamaneni. He says, can an H4 student accept scholarship in college?
They can. They can accept the scholarship, but they cannot do any work though. So let's say if it's a teaching assistant or something like that, no, they cannot do it. If you're just giving a scholarship because of your merits and other things, it's not a problem. But no teaching assistantship, because on H4, I'm assuming you don't have an EAD, you cannot work, but you can get the scholarship.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's go to our next caller, Randy, in the meantime. Hello, sir. Please press *6 to unmute, area code 609.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello, this is Vijay here.
Hi, Vijay.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes. So my question is, I recently got the EAD card through adjustment of status. So both my wife and I got the EAD through me. The question is, if my wife wants to use her EAD, would that stop me from moving back to EB2? Because I downgraded from EB2 to EB3 to get the adjustment of status.
Will you leave your wife alone and then you will be alone, justified for it? Are you ready for it? Will you abandon?
I didn't get
will you abandon your wife for EB2? Answer is no, I guess.
No.
So practically when your wife gets married though, unless you want to abandon her, okay, you are also getting married to the adjustment of status application.
Okay.
You see the point? So if EB2 moves and you want to file another adjustment of status, your wife have to go outside the country, get the H4 stamping again and come back into the United States. It's a very lengthy process though. So since you don't want to abandon your wife, which I feel you don't, you should not. So you practically will be married to this application for EB3. And a lot of people are under the assumption that they can just move to EB2 to EB3 to EB2 easily though. There's a lot of systems that are there. If you want to file another adjustment of status though, it's not that easy. It complicates the whole thing. It's not like, it's definitely like a LA lanes where, you know, that EB2, you know, one lane, when you go into the traffic lines in Los Angeles, what happens is that you move from one lane to another lane, you know, then again that lane stops whichever lane you go. But the difference is that whenever you change the lane, you have to go back to the line. And that's where the problem is. We call it as caboose. You do some mistake when you're a kid, what they tell you to do is that you go to the end of the line. So it's not that easy to move from EB3 to EB2, EB2 to EB3 though. So, but it's up to you. If your wife is getting married, you are considered to be also getting married to this application.
Okay. And do I need to do, so if I have no issue getting married to EB3, does she need to wait until I-140 is approved?
I would recommend though. I would recommend to get the I-140 approved. It's not needed. I would recommend. Why don't you do premium processing since you got a receipt notices now?
Yeah, I was planning on doing that. I was just trying to make sure the getting married stuff. So it looks like
I mean, there is nothing wrong in getting married as long as the I-140 is approved. You are in a definitely much safer mode than anything else. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, and she's on H1B right now, and she's going to lose that, right? As soon as she gets married.
Yeah, as soon as she gets married, she loses H1B.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling in. So, Rahul Garu, while we take our next caller, there is a question from our YouTube viewer, Chaitanya. Looks like he or she lost her H1 due to a layoff, and also that they applied for an H4 and H4 EAD in October of 2020, and there's been no biometrics done yet. Now, the problem is that Chaitanya is a victim of domestic violence and her husband is planning for a divorce. She wants to know what her options are in terms of work authorization or to expedite getting this H4 or to change what can be done.
Domestic violence people may have an option of something called U visa though. They may have to consult a lawyer. I would recommend there's a lawyer by name Sunita Kapoor. You can Google it out, Sunita Kapoor. It is spelled as S-U-N-I-T-A, Kapoor. Our office doesn't do it. You can consult that lawyer. She's very good in. I would strongly recommend to consider the U visa. She's a very good that I would recommend though. And she should go and consult that lady to see if she would be, because U-Visa allows people to stay in the country, to work in the United States, and eventually actually get a green card too, through that basis.
This is good to
Let's
know.
go to the caller.
Yeah, I'm just making a note of it. All right, let's go to our next caller, sir. Area code 469, Ande. There seems to be some
Hello, can
disturbance
you hear
on
me?
your call line, Ande.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
go
hear
ahead.
you, but there seems to be some disturbance also in your call line.
Yeah, it is better now.
Slightly. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. And I have a B2 question. My parents came in February 2020, and నేను వాళ్ళది extend చేశాను, first extension, which is in like June, for like January 2021. All I got was like just a receipt. They will not call for like a fingerprint or anything, and I'm planning to do a second extension, which I did in December 17th. So I didn't got the receipt, and I was thinking like if I didn't get the receipt by January 25th, which I requested in my first extension, so what will be the case? Will they be considered as out of status after January 25th?
They are taking long time to get the receipt notice. But if you're scared of whether you get a receipt notice or not, you can do one thing. These are two parents, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can file them online application before January, before that expires, to be on the safer side if you don't get a receipt notice. But you just have to file them separately, individually, not clubbing together in one application.
Sure. Yeah.
That's
thank you. That part. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for calling in. Now, while we go on to our next caller, this is another question. This is from Madhu P. And he says it's a DUI question. So he is asking, do you recommend bringing an attorney for the biometrics appointment for I-485 downgrade? Reason for simple DUI?
No, you don't need it. You're fine. Okay. As long as you mentioned the things in the 485 application, you're a DUI, you don't need a lawyer to take to the biometrics. They're not going to detain you. No, you don't need it. You're fine.
Does a DUI impact your visa or green card process in any way, Rahul?
There are two things. You said there are two separate things. One thing, visa. If the person already has a visa stamped in the passport, it is technically considered that that passport visa is cancelled. Okay. That doesn't mean that they are illegal in the United States. They can still stay and they can still work in the United States. When they go, let's say, for example, the H1 stamping is there until 2022, and they can't go outside the country and come back on that visa. That visa is automatically cancelled, though. They will have to go to the consulate, and there is a separate appointment that they have to make with a doctor and get that one approved before they get a visa. So that's one extra step, and it takes a longer time, 3 weeks extra time for them to get the visa. That's one thing for the visa. As far as the green card is concerned, though, it is a hiccup. But if the person has one DUI, have I seen any adjustment of status cases denied? Let me tell you the answer. No, I did not see any denial. As long as they mentioned in the 485 application, supplied the documents enough, there is no problem, and they will get they will be getting the green card. Should not have it. They'll be questioned at the time of the interview. Have we done this? And have we gone through all those things? But I have not seen any denials for that.
Okay, good to know. All right. On that note, let's go to our next caller, Ande. Hello, sir. Area code 732. Please press *6 to unmute your line. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sir, this is Karthik. So I filed my 485 on October 30th. EB2 straight, no upgrades or anything. So my question is, I haven't still got my receipt.
Is it in Phoenix or Texas? Did you file in Texas or Louisville or
Texas?
Phoenix.
Texas, Louisville. Okay. So if I have to switch jobs, say after 180 days, I'm working with an end client. My employer is the end client. So if I want to switch the job at say 180 days, can I do that if I still don't have the EAD, or how can we proceed in that case when we don't have an EAD by then?
First is 180 days counts from the time you file the application, not from the time you get the receipt notice. Second thing is that if you don't have an EAD, can you move to a different company on the 485 application? Yes, you can. They just have to file a H1B application. However, do not forget that you have to file a 485J supplement with a new company.
Okay.
Never forget that.
So they have to file.
Because they have to file H1B and 485J supplement. If you get the EAD, technically they don't need to file a H1B. They just need to file a 485J supplement.
Okay.
And 485J
I think
supplement.
that's all my question.
Yeah, thank you. Let's go to the next one. And I just want to describe, Nithya Garu, is that 485J supplement is a very easy application compared to the H1B. It's almost like H4 EAD. And then you don't have to wait until it's approved. You just have to file it. And let me tell you what the filing fees is. Zero. Zip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they might as well just do it. And
yeah, they have to do. Whenever they change the company, they have to do the 485J supplement. That is a must.
So this 485J supplement, was it introduced as a means for additional paperwork for these people, or what prompted this change?
Back in your time and our time, what happened was that, not in our time, but your time particularly, is that when you change from one company to another company, we used to write a letter from the employer, used to write a letter, and we used to send to the immigration. There is no formal process. There is no receipt notice. There is no official documentation, though. So Trump administration, out of all the bad things they did very good with the 485J supplement.
Okay.
Now there is a formal process, though. When we file an application, we get a receipt notice. Now we are on notice. We give a notice to the USCIS. We change the job. And the good thing is there is no filing fees, and it's a very simple application. So now there is a simple process. A lot of times when you change the company previously, you file we used to call it the AC-21 letter. There is no documentation. They still used to deny the 485, hey, you're not working for the existing company, we'll deny your 485 application. It was complicated. So 485J supplement actually is really very, very, very helpful to the people rather than harming the people. It is not complicating, it's actually helping people.
Hello, sir?
Let's go with the question.
425, yeah. Hello, sir, can you please mute your TV line? So area code 425, can you please mute your TV line?
Maybe we need to move to the next one.
Yeah, let's move on to the next caller, Andy. All right, in the meantime, okay, let's go to our next question. So this is from 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗪 𝗪𝗧𝗪. He says, sir, I filed the EB3 downgrade with EB2 master's degree perm. Do you see any issues with USCIS approving the 140 and 485? Do you recommend marrying to EB3 if the 140 is approved?
I would not, normally, let's just hold on.
Sir, just hold on for a minute. We'll be back with you.
Okay. Typically the approval ratings of the downgrade applications are about 95%. They think the things should go through smoothly, though. I don't see much problems in there, unless there is something technically in there. Answering the question of this guy, do I recommend people to get married to the adjustment of status once the I-140 is approved? I am not going to answer that question. I will tell what I would do if I were the person where my I-140 is approved, and if my kids are under 10, I would definitely get married to the adjustment of status. That's what I would do. I'm not going to advise because I may go wrong in it. I'm just telling you what I would do if I were a client. And believe me, I was at one point of time a client before I became a lawyer. And that is my best experience that I can quote.
Thank you, Rahul Garu. And on that note, let's move to our next caller. Randy, hello, sir. Area code 760. We're ready for you now.
Hi.
Hi, Rahul Garu. Advanced Sankranti Shubhakankshalu అండి.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
నా క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే అక్టోబర్లో నేను 485 ఫైల్ చేశాను, స్ట్రైట్ ఫార్వర్డ్ అప్లికేషన్. మా వైఫ్ H4EAD పైన వర్క్ చేస్తూ ఉంది. సో H4 ఎక్స్టెన్షన్ అండ్ EAD రెండు ఫైల్ చేసాము డిసెంబర్లో అనమాట. సో ఇప్పుడు హర్ AP అండ్ EAD ఈజ్ అప్రూవ్డ్. But my EAD or AP, I haven't got any biometrics. So my EAD is still pending. So can she legally use her EAD, GC EAD?
When is her H4EAD expiring?
February 13th, sir.
Yeah, she can absolutely. Just because the biometrics have not happened has no link whatsoever at all with the EAD. I know, guys, you're confused because when I say no link, with the H4 and EAD, in that case, it is linked with the biometrics. When it comes to the adjustment of status EAD and advanced parole, it has nothing to do with biometrics. You can get an EAD without biometrics, and it's perfectly okay. If you choose to get married to the adjustment of status, it's perfectly okay to do and work on EAD. You're legally allowed to do so. And even though
no, it's not about her biometrics, sir. I'm sorry. I think you got it wrong, sir. So it's not about her biometrics. So she is my dependent, right? So she is a derivative applicant. I am the primary. Okay. My biometric didn't happen, and I haven't got my EAD or AP approved.
But
she got her biometric. She has got biometrics.
It doesn't matter whether she got the biometrics. It doesn't matter whether you got the biometrics. It doesn't matter whether you did not get the biometrics. It doesn't matter whether you did not get an EAD. It doesn't matter you did not get an AP approval. All it matters is that she got the EAD approval. That's what you told me. Rest everything, it doesn't matter. She got the EAD approval. She can work. It doesn't matter you did not get the biometrics.
Okay, sir. So should what if they approve her H4 EAD after she started using a green card EAD?
Nothing wrong with
it. Will
it
impact?
No, it's just like you're going from New York to LA. Now you have a ticket from Delta Airlines and you have a ticket from American Airlines too. Nothing wrong with it.
Okay, so I need not to withdraw her H4.
No, I would not withdraw it. Keep it there. It won't harm her.
Yeah, I haven't received receipt notices for H4 and H4 EAD.
Oh yeah, wait for 20 months, buddy. Wait for 20 months. Okay then.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you then.
Thanks for your
Thank you for calling in. All right, Randy, let's, while we go on to our next caller, I have a question on YouTube. This is from Suma. She says, I have a question regarding child age out. I have downgraded from EB2 to EB3 and waiting for the receipt number. Her son turns 21 this April, and her question is, even after child becomes 21 and if our priority date becomes current, which is September of 2011, the I-140 time will take into consideration?
Did she filed the downgrade application or is it a straight application? Do you know anything about it?
EB2 to EB3.
Okay. The time period that the I-140 application is pending though, the downgrade application though, will the time period, the age of the kid has to be deducted from it. I would be a little bit cautious with this kid. I would apply for the F1 and in the meantime, I may even apply for the transition B2. We call it as a bridge B2 application because we cannot judge if the priority date is going to become current. Final action date will become current though. So Suma, it is very sensitive. I would recommend that you contact a lawyer so that you have all the timelines noted. Here is that, yeah, it is right. You are absolutely right that the time period of the I-140 will be deducted. And even though I normally recommend people to file the premium processing, when it comes to your case though, do not file the premium processing because you want to hold on because the more your I-140 is pending though, that age of your son will be deducted though. That's the reason why you do not need premium processing. But I would still consider that you need to still file a F1 for him because you don't know whether the final action date will become current or not. You may have to file a bridge application before he turns 21.
Okay. And I think they have time till April, so
Yeah.
still do it. Awesome, Rahul Garu. Thank you. Let's go to our next caller, Andy. Hello, sir. Area code 425. We're ready for you now. Please press *6 to unmute your line. Sir, area code 425. Please press *6 to unmute your line. Okay. Let's take our next caller, Andy. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Area code 210. Yes, we're here.
Yes, 210 అండి అవునండి.
Sir, మీ టీవీ లైన్ మ్యూట్ చేసుకుంటారా ప్లీజ్?
Yes, sure. I will.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, I did that.
Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So I think like you already answered the question like which I'm going to ask. Like basically like my parents were here on visitor visa. They came here in February 2020, and we already filed for extension one time, and we are planning to file for extension one more time. Is it okay to file for like second extension, or it's going to create any issues for future travel?
Definitely they will consider that when they are traveling, future travel. They will look into how long your parents have stayed in this country though. Obviously they will also consider discounted that it's a pandemic, people don't want to travel, 500 people cooked up in one small AC flight. It's definitely risky for it. They will consider that aspect too. But if by any chance, if you don't want to take a risk of traveling in the flight with your parents, if you are intent to file the second extension, make sure that they should not come in the next 1.5 years after they leave the country though. They should not try to come back.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. I mean, because like basically like I'm trying to get them a vaccine, so I mean that's one of the issues. They all have their first dose, and we're waiting for second dose, and their 1 year ends on February 10th of 2021. We are planning to book their flight tickets during the month of March. So
that makes good sense to have them second vaccine. And after the second vaccine, I think so after they're telling me, my wife is telling me that she's a healthcare worker. She got her first and getting the second. After 1 week, she will be free. That's what she's telling. Yeah, that makes sense. For if I would do that. But make sure that they don't come back at least for the next 1 to 1.5 years after they leave the country. And keep all the documentation of the receipt notices.
Oh, sure, we will. Thanks a lot for your help. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling in, and we're all out of time today, Andy. Rahul Garu, thank you so much as always. You've been amazing with every single question, whether it's a YouTube viewer or whether it's one of our callers. Thank you so much for being on the show and answering all of these questions patiently, Andy.
Thank you for inviting me.
To all our viewers, advance wishes for a happy SlingTV. We'll see you guys next week, same time. So, don't forget to call in, tune in, watch us, Dish Network, BBTV, SlingTV. Ekkada veelaina, join us, and we'll try and answer some more of your questions. But thank you so much for joining us today. Take care and have a wonderful week.
సంక్రాంతి సందర్భంగా లెజెండరీ సింగర్ పద్మశ్రీ చిత్ర గారి సుస్వరాలతో పాటు ఆకట్టుకునే మరెన్నో కార్యక్రమాలతో వర్చువల్ గా రూపొందించే తానా సంక్రాంతి 2021 గ్రాండ్ సెలబ్రేషన్స్ మీ టీవీఏషియా తెలుగులో జనవరి 16 10 AM EST. రంగవల్లులతో తీర్చిదిద్దిన లోగిళ్ల ముందు బంధుమిత్రులతో పిల్లా పాపల ఆటపాటలతో ఈ ప్రకృతి పండుగను ఆస్వాదించడమే కాదు, తానా మీకోసం మీ పిల్లల కోసం నిర్వహించే రంగవల్లులు ఆటపాటల పోటీల్లో కూడా పాల్గొనండి. పాడి పశువులను అలంకరిస్తూ చల్లని పిల్ల గాలులను ఆస్వాదిస్తూ భోగి మంటల నులివెచ్చదనంతో సేద తీరుతున్న మీరు తానా అందించే విలువైన బహుమతులను విజేతలుగా అందుకోవడమే కాదు, మధుర గాయని పద్మశ్రీ శోభారాజ్ గారి ఆశీస్సులు కూడా అందుకోవచ్చు. తానా అందించే మరిచిపోలేని ఈ అనుభూతి మీ సొంతమవ్వాలంటే https://tinYurl.com/తానా సంక్రాంతిలో మీ వివరాలు నమోదు చేసుకోండి. రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ కు ఆఖరు తేదీ జనవరి 9. తానా వారి ఈ ఆహ్వానం సపరివార సమేతంగా మీకోసం. తానా సంక్రాంతి 2021 గ్రాండ్ సెలబ్రేషన్స్ మీ టీవీఏషియా తెలుగులో జనవరి 16 10 AM EST.
ఎక్స్చేంజ్ 8,000 రూపాయల బ్యాలెన్స్ మ్యామ్.
ఇవ్వనక్కర్లేదమ్మా, 8,000 మీకే వస్తాయి.
ఎస్ మ్యామ్, మేము కేవలం హాల్మార్క్ 916 గోల్డ్నే అమ్ముతాం. ఇంకా మీకు దొరికింది 100% ఎక్స్చేంజ్ వాల్యూ.
క్వాలిటీ, ఇది మలబార్ ప్రామిస్.
ఇది మా హీరో అల్లుడు కోసం ఫిట్ గా ఉంటుంది.
పర్ఫెక్ట్ గా ఫిట్ అవుతుంది. ఇది మైండ్ డైమండ్, 100% క్వాలిటీ.
సార్, ప్రతి మైండ్ డైమండ్ న్యాచురల్. ఇంకా మేము 28 క్వాలిటీ టెస్ట్లు చేస్తాం.
28 టెస్ట్లా?
ప్రతి డైమండ్ జ్యువెలరీతో పాటు ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ల్యాబ్ సర్టిఫికేట్ కూడా.
కళ్ళు మూసుకుని మీ హీరో కోసం వజ్రాలను తీసుకోండి. ఇది మలబార్ ప్రామిస్.